All right, family. Thank you for being patient. We was backstage cracking jokes, family. Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, Pyramids. And our featured guest tonight is the world famous numerologist, astronumerologist, Lloyd Strayhorn. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn off somebody who's feedback. Let me see. Let me turn off my stuff. Damn, that was rough. I thought I had improved the technology. Okay, so we're going to start with the opening. Damn, that was rough. I thought I had improved the technology. Okay, so we're going to start with the damn. That was rough. I thought I had improved the technology. Okay, so we're going to start with the damn. Here we go. Let me see. Where's Baraka? Where's Baraka? Beachside.
A call to action. The time is now. Summon the warrior energy in you, the healer in you, the divine masculine, the divine feminine energy in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burdens, distractions, and anything that's holding you back and take your rightful place. The battle is all around us, and it's right in your face. Let's go.
Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember, always who you are. Yes. Yes. I am love, wisdom, power. Yes. Yes. I am love, yes, power. Yes. I am yes, I am love, wisdom, power. Yes, yes, I am love, wisdom, power. Master. Yes, I am. Yes, love, wisdom, power. Yes, I am. Say yes to yourself. Yes, I am protected. Yes, I am master. I am relaxing.
Hank, where are you? He's gone. Oh my goodness.
I'm back.
Oh, there
Pardon
you
me,
go.
y'all. I
Yeah,
jacked my own self.
you floating out of space right there. You see? You got that space behind you.
Okay. I had too many windows open. Pardon me, family. The technology got a little confusing for my elementary mechanics. So let me just welcome everybody to Magnus Crystals Pyramids with our honorary guest, Lloyd Strayhorn, and co-hostess, the one and only Miss Bliss. And my computer, for whatever reason, is acting strange. At least I don't have an echo. You can hear me okay, Bliss? Lloyd?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So without further ado, let's go into the invocation. I am in me, I am in Miss Bliss. I am in Lloyd Strayhorn. I am in you, the listening audience. In the name of love, we call upon our ascended master ancestors We are star seeds blossoming inside the muddy, murky waters of our physical existence to one day ascend into the galactic orchids, the galactic lotus that we truly are, with boundless love, wisdom, knowledge, miracles, and power from the divine DNA in the subatomic mitochondria of our beings. So, to all the gods and goddesses in various levels of sprouting, we individually and collectively salute you because you make the difference. Thank you for being born. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for surviving the crash landing adolescence of our youth. And may each of us remember our purpose, our mission impossible in this dream time incarnation. We call upon Black Madonna, Mother Mary. We call upon White Buffalo Calf Woman. Call upon Oshun, Yemaya, Oya. Call upon Arset, Heteru. Call upon Mother Goddess to rain down upon all the misguided women in the world to align with their Shakti, feminine divine, so that the men will align to their Father God reflection and have divine polarity of the positive and negative energy reflected into the three primary colors of Father, Mother, and the love magnetic force between that has been known as Haru, Christ, Krishna, that electromagnet, biochemical, irresistible, quantum, love-gasmic energy. May we inebriate, elevate, saturate, and exude love supreme and bliss within our hearts, our souls, and our minds. And may all the chakras of our cells shine into the day and night ever so bright, transforming the world and making it ever so better. So we acknowledge the gatekeeper, ascended master, Saint Germain. Invite him to be on the platform. We invite Sheikh Amadou Bamba, ascended master from Senegal, Africa, founded the city of Touba. Sheikh Ibra Fall, the latest Christ born in the Congo. Call upon Simeon Toko. We invite you to be on the show. Melchizedek, Enoch the Ethiopian, who ascended into the heavens and became Metatron. We ask Angel of Protection, Archangel Michael, to surround all our men, women, children, nieces, nephews, aunties, uncles, grandfathers, grandmothers throughout the world, and protect them from incarnated ignorance, and surround with the blue shield of electronic protection. Thank you, Archangel Michael. So let it be said, so let it be done. We call upon Angel of Healing, Archangel Raphael, be with us. Angel of Knowledge and Enlightenment, Archangel Uriel, be with us. Call on the forces of nature that live inside of us, Elegba. We call on Shango, Ogun, Olokun, Ochosi, Obatala, to shine in the harmony of love supreme. We acknowledge Seraphis Bay, Great Divine Director. We call on Nat Turner, John Brown, Chief Geronimo, Chief Osceola, Chief Crazy Horse, Chief Sitting Bull, to all the shaman warriors who beat the drums of love supreme in the herbal kingdom, the crystal kingdom, and you who are listening now and in the future, may you transform the world. And we say together, Ashe, Aho, Mahalo, Donada, Sheshe. Amen. Amen. All right. Okay, so family, we're going to have fun tonight. Lloyd has some magical, mystical stuff to share with you that he's never shared with before. So Lloyd, you got front and center. Let me see if I can get this computer to move your picture. I'm trying to put these crystals on top of us instead of underneath us. But Lloyd, go ahead, man. What you got cooking in the pot? What's in the stew brewing?
Numerology for decades. So anything with the word numbers on it, I'm interested. Okay. And then one day in the 80s, 90s, I came across this thing called an Enneagram. And what fascinated me was it talked about the 9 personality types. Well, numerology deals with the 9 personality types too. So if you are number 1, you have this certain characteristic. If you are number 2, you have that certain characteristic. But Enneagram has a whole different flavor to it. First of all, it's the new kid on the block. It's not as old, nowhere near astrology, numerology. Much of the credit is gotten to a Bolivian priest. Actually, he was a Bolivian mystic. His name was Oscar Ichazo, and he was the one that formed a school in Chile or Bolivia called Arica. It's spelled Arica. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but Arica. And so it was one of his students, a gentleman named Claudio Janzo, who actually introduced it to the West here in the 1960s, and it took on flavor. And since then, there's been a lot of books written about the subject. And so what happens is, it is about depending on what type you are as described by the Enneagram concept. Well, it's not as simple by saying, well, like Bliss is born on a 6. So I'll say, well, this characteristic is so and so and so. What it does is it takes you through a series of tests in order to see what personality type you really are. Now, that's the only thing. I have several books, but this is interesting. I pulled out a article I say back in 1995. Okay, this was it here. What is your number? Okay, and it talked about a mystical system of personality typing of sweeping classrooms and boardrooms, and but how much can you really count on them? And so what it did, it went into describing the type. So that's what I'm going to do. But here's what's interesting. In the article, if you notice, they have a picture of him, and supposedly these are the masks that symbolizes the Enneagram. And I couldn't help but listen that they're African in origin, okay, which is all that we, you know. So, so I don't know where he got the mask from, but I know when I'm looking at those masks, one looks like a Dogon mask, okay. They definitely come from Africa, okay. So how these masks but these masks supposedly represented the 9 personality types. So what they do is, to give you an example, this is one of the books I have, okay, the Enneagram in You. And what happens is it'll take you through a series of quizzes. And by the way, this is the, hold it, where are we? This is the Enneagram symbol. It is a symbol of a circle, pyramids, a irregular hexagon, okay? And you see the numbers correcting. And what's so interesting, when Bliss designed the brochure, the flyer for tonight, if you see it, that's exactly what is over my shoulder in the, whoops, there you go. That was what was actually over my shoulder in the flyer. But anyway, so what they do is they take,
Lloyd, show that to us again, please.
yes.
I got your full screen.
Yes.
I had to restart this computer because it started acting cuckoo.
Don't worry. This is the Enneagram symbol.
Ooh, okay, got it.
Yeah, but what's happening is if you look at tonight's flyer, right behind me is the Enneagram symbol.
Yeah, I'm gonna post that.
Where Sister Bliss got that from? Okay, so
Yes.
she does her homework. All righty, because that's what it is. But now it's not as simple as I'm a number 1, I'm a number 6, I'm a number 7, whatever the case is. It is determined by, it deals with your security points, it deals with your stress points, and it deals with how things are balanced out. They start off with a series of questions. That's the only thing they take you. You have to fill out a series of questions. Okay, for example, I will give you this. It says, what is your type? It is a quiz. All righty. And when they say the quiz, one of them is like, okay, now you is agree, neutral, or disagree. So I'm just going to take quiz A, all right, to give you a type. It says, I am sensitive, agree, neutral, or disagree. I strive for a unique style. I look for meanings in just about everything. I am often misunderstood. I am highly creative. I being authentic is important even if it means I'm not popular. And so it's quiz one A B C D E F G H I. So right there, if you notice, there are 9 quizzes. And when you
Mm.
take these 9 quizzes, then you do a calculation of how many agrees you got, how many disagrees you got, how many neutrals you got. And so it's like it's a process. However, there is a description that people can say. Sometimes I think I'm this type by the description it has. I'm that type by the description it has. So what I'm going to do is here it is. I'm going to read from it the 9 personality types, and you see if you fit, or we know somebody who fits. Okay, so the perfectionists, they are critical, they are judgmental, they're ethically sensitive, they're idealistic. The ones are fastidious and can be self righteous, moralistic. They are politically, there we go, buddy. And they differ from, excuse me, they're politically correct or preachy. So a number 2 is a giver, and that is the giver. Now these are interchangeables, okay? Um, but the giver is aggressively seductive, hungry for affection, approval, caring, manipulative relationship. It's so interesting, Hank, that many of the types of descriptions they describe here fits numerically the birthday of a person itself. Ones are
Wow.
assertive, ones are aggressive, ones think they're pretty good. The ones and 9s think they the nicest things around. 2s are giving, kind, loving, caring, sharing, things of that nature. So it says it's relationship centered, well adjusted. 2s can be sensitive and altruistic while less evolved. 2s may be perceived as giving for selfish reasons. Okay. So again, that describes me numerically the nature of a 2. They had at that time Nancy Reagan, Madonna, Mother Teresa, Jerry Lewis. The performer. That's interesting because 3 is associated with entertainment.
Mm.
Did you know, for example, 3 rules each a sign, right? Well, 3 rules a sign of Pisces, but 3 also rules a sign of Sagittarius. And majority of your entertainers, comics, come out of the sign of Sagittarius, such as Rodney Dangerfield, Red Fox, Richard Pryor. Um, what's my man? It used to Geraldine. What's his?
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, funny.
Hold on, I'll get him. Yeah,
Flip
I grew
Wilson.
up on him.
Flip
Flip
Wilson.
Wilson. Flip
Flip
Wilson.
Wilson.
Flip
Flip
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah.
And Red Fox. Almost all the entertainers come under the sign. Even Dave Kinderson, a Sagittarius. So in that way, I thought this. It's like I says, okay, they got this Enneagram, but the type really represents very close to the descriptions numerically what these numbers mean from 1 to 9. So it says it's obsessed with image. That is definitely the nature of a 3. They like their status. The one thing you don't do with a number 3, and I guess in this case, the performer, is you don't try to slander their name. You don't throw no mud on their name without some consequences. That's for sure. All righty. They can be effective leaders. And believe it or not, and don't forget, this article I saved back in 1995. Okay, so this was a couple of years ago, over 20 years ago. And one of the persons they had listed was Donald Trump, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Cruise, O.J. Simpson. All right. So then number 4 is the tragic romantic, melancholy. That's a perfect description of a 4. I described them as moody. They're loners, things like that. They can be flamboyant, passionate, artistic, wallowing in self pity. Fours are always chasing after unattainable ideals, supposedly. Um, and it says they're creative and may favor a black wardrobe. So they have Oscar Wilde, Francis Ford Coppola, Marlon Brando, uh, Vincent Van Gogh, the artist, and whatnot. Now, 5 is considered the observer, all right? And that means emotionally remote, private, wise, detached from people and feelings. 5 prefer to watch from a safe distance. Normally, 5s like to be involved. So that's one of the things that they got. So if you notice, look at the definitions that was given back then, because when this article was written, they were about to have their first Enneagram International Conference at Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. Okay, and they had over 1,400 enthusiasts, and also they had from 17 countries around the world at that time with this conference. Um, and in fact, this gentleman has supposedly a Enneagram company because there's supposedly board members and whatnot, but that was at the time of 1995. So I really don't know how that is, but they find social and business interactions exhausting, can be clear-headed decision makers, analysts, commentators, and also make good monks. Okay. So they got Howard Hughes, they got Johnny Carson at that time, Jerry Brown. These were all the people, I guess, who was in access to Meryl Streep. The number 6 is called the devil's advocate. Loyal, dutiful, fearful, plagued by doubt, always watching for signs of danger. 6s can be hyper attuned to concealed motives or just plain paranoid. So don't forget these are some of the books I got right here. All
Let me
right.
put you full screen. We'll
Yeah.
put you full screen there. Go ahead.
These are some of the books I got. Okay. And then this one here is like the Bible. Okay. This is a complete guide to psychological and spiritual growth for the 9 personality types, written by Richard Risso and Russ Hudson. Okay. And it goes into pretty detailed things about this. So it's very interesting that they says that these books have been very popular, um, but they're not as popular as they were. I mean, they're still around. The fact that when I got these books, they were last year. I got these books, so Enneagram is still around, but it's not as popular as the world of astrology and the world of numerology. So to find out where you really fit at, other than me sounding the similarity between the number 1 in an Enneagram to a number 1 in numerology, the theory is there are 9 tests you take. They call it A through I, but if you translate the letters into numbers, it'll be 1 through 9. And you gotta honestly answer. That's the trick. Now you can lie to your friends, but the point is, if you want to know about you, you need to be honest with yourself of what you agree, what you find neutral about one way or the other, or what you disagree. So those will be the things. And once you make that assessment and whatnot, but it is used supposedly it's supposed to be very good. With 6s, they also tend to mistrust authority, identify with underdogs, unhealthy, which is interesting because 6s are normally about their health. Okay. And the best health for number 6s is always sunlight, fresh air, and a little brisk activities. So in the case of a Bliss, who's a 6, she really wouldn't need much medication. All she needs is God's ingredients, which is sunlight, fresh air, and walking, which doctors say is always therapeutic for the body. Okay. Number 7 is the Epicure, whatever that means. And by the way, it claims that the Enneagram comes from several mystical systems from Islam, Sufism, the Kabbalah, whatnot. So they're all combined. And did you know even the CIA used the Enneagram? I don't know whether they still use it because and I don't mean, as Kevin Samuel says, confident, assertive, confident, independent, and assertive, the CIA from his definition. I'm talking about the Central Intelligence Agency. In this article claimed that they used it to figure out government types. Okay. Give you an example. One of the opposition numbers to the United States is the number 6 and 8. Well, when I went to China, you know what their lucky numbers are? The 6 and the 8. So this would explain to me why China and the United States is never on the same plane. In fact, when I was in China, there was a person that came from another part of the country, Europe or something like that. And, they have these little motorbikes. And on the motorbikes, she put skull and crossbones, and she put the number 4. And she said nobody took her bikes. Now bikes were taken. That's when I went to see Ali and Kachi, all right, and his bike was taken. But this woman figured out understanding the fears and superstitions of all cultures about numbers, that when they put the number 4, and in fact, when you say the number 4 in Chinese, that's the word for death. That's what it sounds like.
Wow.
So that's where that comes from. So each country has its own preferences with the numbers. Once I understood that 8 and 6s, because those are the money numbers, those are the success numbers in China. Where in this country, the number 4, 4 years of the president, this, that, and the other. And so since 4s and 6s and 4s and 8s will clash with each other, this would explain probably why this nation doesn't get along. So I don't know how the CIA looks at it, but I guess it leaves no stone unturned when it comes to looking at everything. But they call the 7 the Epicure, and it means sensual, adventurous, witty, superficial, Peter Panish. Sevens love being happy and emotionally high. Well, normally, as a rule, 7 numerically like to be alone. They like to be their own best company, as a rule, unless they're under the sign of Sagittarius, like you, which brings a lot of entertainment into the fold. You know what I'm saying? They may be childlike or just plain childish, depending on where you sit on the Enneagram. And so they got actor Robert Williams and Goldie Hawn and Timothy Leary, who was taking psychedelic drugs at that time. That was a real big thing about Timothy Leary. Okay, that was his reputation at the time. And so 8 is the boss, which is interesting because 8 always represents money, power, authority, achievement, recognition, this, that, and the other. And it is authoritarian, combative, protective, takes charge because 8s are executives as a rule. 8s love a good fight. That sounds like a 9 energy because 9s will fight you. Okay. Um, they make bold leaders and adversaries. And Fidel Castro, Saddam Hussein, at the time was considered under this type. Bella Abzug, she was a politician back in the day here in New York. Former French President Charles de Gaulle at that time, and Leona Helmsley, of the Helmsley Hotel dynasty. And then there's 9, the Mediator, and it's called ambivalent, compromising, caring, calming, passive, aggressive. 9s are outwardly agreeable. Normally, not the 9s I know. Okay, 9s normally have a good opinion of themselves, and they do not take orders well. So as you see, even though you go around, they have various names for them, but it is the type. And again, if anybody want to take the test, I recommend that they go to I just saw it just before coming on. It's called Best EnneagramTest.com. BEST for best. Enneagram, ENNEAGRAM. And hold on before I run out of juice, okay? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna just see if I got this spelling right. I'm gonna post it.
You can post that on there. So people can take the
Enneagram. Let me make sure I spelled that
test,
right.
and then put test on the end of it.
Oh, test. Okay.
Yeah, at the end of gram.
So I gotta hide it, and then I'm going to.
Yeah. I know the script.
Test.
So if you go there, you can actually take a test now to find out what the true type is. So yes, I was intrigued with it. Also, I got intrigued with the Rosicrucian order. There was a book that says this is better than numerology and astrology, and I had to buy it. And it dealt with the Rosicrucian system. The Rosicrucian system goes from birthday to birthday. And the Rosicrucian system is broken into 7 divisions. Each division is 52 days in length. As you come around to your birthday, that is called your 52-day critical cycle. But the day of your birthday, like in the case of Bliss, January the 6th, that will start her brand new 9-year cycle from birthday to birthday. So the first 52-day cycle is called your reputation cycle, which means whatever she wants, she gets. So if I was looking at anything from late November all the way through January the 5th, that's when she's in her critical cycle. The critical cycle means just that. There have been many instances of people like Marvin Gaye was shot and killed one day before his birthday on April 1st, 1984 in California. Teddy Pendergrass got in an accident that paralyzed him 52 days before his birthday. I mean, it's
Wow.
not going to die or whatever the case is, but they call it the critical cycle for that reason. In other words, that's when you're at the lowest ebb in the bell curve. All right. And so it's that 52 days coming back around to your birthday that one needs to exercise caution, care, and deliberation for best things. It is not the best time for surgery. It's not the best time for launching projects. It is the best time to wait until you're in your reputation cycle. So the best cycles then this, the Rosicrucian cycle is cycle number 1, reputation cycle. But the cycle I like is cycle number 5, which is called the success cycle. So to give you an example, when I was hired by WBLS, WLIB Radio, what they did not know, they hired me in the month of September when I entered my success cycle. So I was supposed to be on WBLS, WLIB for 3 months, and I wound up being on there for 21 years.
Wow.
Timing is very important. So they're all different kinds of cycles. So this is one, and I don't know how you came across this, Hank, with yourself. I mean, you kind of got your hands a little bit of everything, but this is popular now, and it's beginning more because this book I got back in, I dated it too. I got this book back in 1989 or something like that. And so these are 2 recent books, again, that just came out, okay? But all you got to do is just get your, just look up Enneagrams. But there are tests you got to take. So even though I described these types, they were very descriptive, very, very surfacey, but they're much more detailed when you go into these books, okay? But the point is you got to take a series of 9 tests. They're not that long, you know. People are lazy nowadays. You know, it's just instant gratification, just add water. And what it says is you have, see, and if you look here, see, this is it here. See, you got to score the quiz, all right? Whoops, there you go. Got to score the quiz, how many of your scores, and then once you add it all up, that will then tell you whether you're this type of person or that type of person. For example, if the person scored highest in quiz A, they're likely to be a 4. If they score highest in the B quiz, they're likely to be a 7. In the C quiz, they're likely to be a 1. If they're in the D quiz, they're likely to be an 8. So it all depends. But so you don't have to read the book. All you got to do is go to bestenneagramtest.com and take the test. I don't know how in depth it is, but that is where you go if you want to find out what your Enneagram type it is. I do believe that people will exhibit several of these types, you know, a blend of them. I don't think no one is locked into a number, not unless that number is repetitive all over the place, from the destiny number, the name number, the birthday, the zodiac sign, something like that. So, for example, let's say a person is born on a month, day, and year that adds up to a 4, and they happen to be born on the 4th, and they happen to be under the sign of Aquarius, which is the number 4. And their name is Matt, which would add up to 4 because it has 3 4s in the name. Then it adds up to 13. Then they could be dating a lady named Katie, Katie. Well, Katie, under the Chaldean system, also adds a 13 or 4. So I could say that's really a 4 type, numerically speaking. Enneagram doesn't work like that.
Yeah, this is fascinating, Lloyd, because, you know, we got, I say, another cycle of young folks coming into maturity, and they're looking for answers, and the old heads are cycling out, whether sickness or afterlife. So there's a whole nother generation coming up and saying, okay, what kind of tools can I have? Numerologically, astrologically, Enneagrams, 52-day annual Rosicrucian cycles, because they're trying to figure out what they were born to do.
Well, actually, it was so ironic that you say that. The group that's highest in terms of curiosity is that group in demographics between 18 and 24 years old, which is about right. So you're definitely right about that. Right?
Yeah, that's right around bliss age, man.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So if someone is dating someone or about to date someone and they have the same numbers, because you said if it's 6 and 8, America's 6 and 8, China's 6 and 8, and that's why they're never on the same level. So what would one do if they're dating someone whose numbers is similar to theirs and they're struggling to get along? Break up? I don't
Well,
know.
that's a good question. Well, you know, it's like I tried to explain, like in the days of our parents and their parents and their parents and their parents. When they got married, it wasn't about the zodiac signs. It wasn't about the numbers. It was for richer or poorer, for better or worse, for sickness or in health. That was it. There were no prenups, none of that stuff. There was a time, as you know, that if a woman got pregnant, she was going to the altar and the dude was going with her. Okay. Fast forward nowadays, women can have 1, 2, 5 children. They don't have to be connected to nobody in that sense. Then they got women thinking they don't need a man, which is, I don't know how they came up with that concept. Because how did you get the children in the first place if you don't need a man? That's the only way you can get pregnant to me. I mean, if you look at the laws of biology and anatomically, you know, now they want now they're trying to project and tell young boys that they can have babies. Anatomically, that's not true. Biologically, that's not true. And how are they coming up with that concept? So I don't have no problems with this, whatever this is going on out here. But I know this: you either come in this world with 3 legs or 2 legs. And here's the thing: man has been around for thousands
I
and
just
thousands
caught that.
of
I
years.
love that, Lloyd.
That was a good one.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. I mean, for me, maybe because I'm an elder, as they call it nowadays, but I like to use some common sense. If man has been around for thousands and thousands of years, you mean in this late 21st century that boys are coming out wanting to be girls and girls coming out wanting to be boys? That God would make such a mistake like that? Really? Really? I don't think so. Using some common sense up in this piece. Now, I don't want people to get me wrong. I ain't hating on nobody, but I'm using some common sense about it. Now they don't want. Now they've got it whereby they want to teach you the pronunciation of how to address people. You can no longer say she. You can no longer say he. So do you say it? Okay. Or what do you say? Or how do you say it? If you got 2 legs, you're a she. If you got 3 legs, you're a he. Anatomically.
Yeah, and
That's
when you
true.
check your bones, it's either going to be a she or he. So
And
you
not
got to
only
look out
that,
for
but
eventually.
they will let you know that when they found the when they found the oldest bones in Kenya called the Kenya Pithecus, it was the bones of a woman, because a woman anatomically is designed differently than the bones of a man.
Right.
So people can be women if they want to. People can be men if they want to. But at the end of the day, when their bones are there, I don't care what they do. They
Yeah,
will now tell you that that is the body of a male and that's the body of a female. That's the only thing I can go on.
yeah.
Right.
Listen, Lloyd, this is so juicy. You better let us know when you're ready to go and have some tea or something, because we're coming up on 7:44 p.m.
It is
Have,
already? Wow.
yes, 7:44 already. I got your contact number 1-800-581-4401. I
Yes.
have your learn from Lloyd at gmail.com. Book an appointment.
Yes.
Do you have some anything that for folks to
Yes.
contribute to? You know,
Well,
like,
yes. I'd like to say, as of now, I now have an audiobook. Learn
ooh, let
from
me go.
Lloyd.
Let me let you go. Make a big picture of you. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Well, that book behind me, the orange book, that's my Bible. And one day I was in Clubhouse, and actually, for years, I've been trying to get Valentine to update the book. I wrote it in '87. Then the orange edition behind me was in '97. And I says, okay, now we're in the 21st century, you know. But it was Valentine was taken over by Bertelsmann, which is a German publishing company, and they figured the sales was good, so they didn't have to. But what happened is I was in Clubhouse late last year, and one of the people in Clubhouse was visually challenged, and a lot of people are visually challenged, which is why audiobooks are now so popular. Large print books are now popular. Even Reader's Digest come out with large print magazines, okay, for visually challenged or people find it hard to read and got to hold it closer. So what I did was I spent a week uh, really recording every word of the book. Is actually it's a bridge because there's a chapter in there that covers 10 years of predictions that cover from 1997 to 2007. So at this late date, that is definitely dated. So that was omitted. Certain other areas were omitted, but that entire book is recorded in my voice. And so if they want to see everything I got, oh, and then please, Hank, can you put up I now have an app that just came out this week called A Star 8. ASTAR, a star in the sky with the number 8. 8 stands for time, infinity, without beginning, without end. It's universe and it's
Oh,
science.
we gotta add that to the banner. Okay, hold on a second. Let me with my big fingers type what you just said there. Hold on a second.
Yeah, so that means you would also do well in jewelry business and find details too with big hands. Because I did palmistry too. But anyway.
Okay, hold on. Lloyd's app. You have an app
Yes,
called
my app is called a star8.com, the number 8. A star, ASTAR, like a star in the sky.
Yeah.
And the number 8. Because
Okay,
I blend both numerology and astrology together. Yes.
Okay, so
it's a mobile app. Now, right now, it's available for all Android users. They'll be out again it'll be out shortly with iPhone. iPhone takes you to a little bit more requirements or whatever the case is, but that's going to be resolved soon. But right now, all Android users can download it right now. The star 8 right there.
Star the number 8.com.
Perfect. It is perfect.
Yeah.
And so they can pick up and all they got to do if they want to, they can go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. They can also listen to my podcast. In fact, you're going to be featured on one of the shows, Hank, that we did. So I have the podcast on there. I have a free monthly newsletter on there. I have the audiobook on there, and I have the Star 8.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been pretty busy over the last.
You've been in the lab, brother.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So it's very, very nice to do this. The newsletter is absolutely free. Just go there and sign up, and then they can either buy the book at Amazon, or now that a lot of people like to listen to audiobooks, or you can listen in your car, listen in bed, whatever the case is. And you go to my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, and you can purchase it. It'll download into your phone or download into your computer, and just sit back and enjoy. And the entire book is recorded in my voice.
Wow.
Only because I didn't have money to buy a professional. So I said, Lloyd, you've been doing this pretty good. Okay. Use your own voice.
Yeah, use your own voice. We don't want to hear Pee Wee Herman talking about your science.
And I don't think they could quite get it across the way I would do it,
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lloyd, you got folks in here dropping numbers like birthdays.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You ready? All right. So let me take it first come, first serve. Here we go. This one is from Angela, January 13th, 1971.
Yeah. Now, Angela would be what I call a Capricorn 4 person. And I got into this because people know more about astrology first. And when I was doing this, astrology was like, huh? Now numerology is just as easy as that. So it means that she is an earth sign with an air number, because each zodiac sign is ruled by an element, and Capricorn is ruled by earth, which is why they're very practical, very down to earth. And Capricorn is the business sign. And in fact, Capricorn rules Father Time. But it also tells me she likes to be different. If everybody does it one way, she will be doing it another way. So since her numbers are the 4, the 1, and the 8, and so since 4s and 8s both tend to be misunderstood, I would say if she had to hang a motto over her door, it would be to know Angela is to love Angela. But her key numbers are the 4, 1, and 8, and her best days, without exceptions, are always on a Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Saturday. But I would say Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays are always her best days. And this year is her year to have fun. This year, her world is expanding, is growing, things are evolving pretty much for her.
Beautiful. Okay, we got somebody named, I guess this is his grandson, Xavier, October 10th, 1995. And you tell me when to stop.
Huh?
I said, you tell me when you need to stop and drink some water, because there's
No,
a bunch of folks on this right now.
yeah. Okay. This person is an air sign with a fire number, which means they are logical and yet very passionate. It's interesting. They're born in the 10th month on the 10th day. And it seems that this person would make an excellent lawyer, doctor, scientist, entrepreneur, business owner, manager, director. The person probably wear glasses or have sensitivities with the eyes. In the case of Isaiah, because it's a male, it's probably to the right eye that's a little bit more sensitive. Or even if they don't wear glasses,
Wow.
on a bright sunny day, they probably look like walking around like Michael Jackson with some shades on during the summertime, or Ray Charles, okay? But it tells me they're very independent. Their key numbers are the 1, 4, and 9, which means Sundays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are the fire days in the week, is this person's best day. And this year's, in fact, this person is going to do well not only this year, but even better in the year from October, right after, just before their birthday of this year into all of 2024.
Thank you. Now, these are teasers, family, because you can see that little ticker tape at the bottom. If you want to have a whole lot of personal attention, you go to the website and make an appointment. So
Yeah.
just give them a quickie. Just a quickie, Lloyd.
Yeah, Earl and Charles. Well, an air sign with a fire number. And so this way, very logical, very independent. And this is a year of new beginnings for this particular person to do what they have to do in their best interest. Their key numbers are the 1, 4, and 9. And because they're an Aquarius, that means they're odd and unusual. And because they're number 1, they don't take orders well. This, as you know, this is the birthday of King Simon. So a person is very...
Okay. Special shout out to King Simon. Yeah.
Yeah. And their best days are always on Sunday and Tuesdays as their best days, and Wednesday.
Cool. You got another Capricorn in here.
Yeah, well, this is the birthday of my son that just walked in, January the 8th. They are an Earth sign with an Earth number. So that means they're very pragmatic. They're like Bliss. Bliss is an Earth sign with an Earth number, which tells me, like, with my son or Bliss, they can have a good time, but at the end of the day, they're going to keep it real. Okay? So after they settle down, they like to use a lot of common sense. Here's how I explain about Earth signs. You know how you got the action movies where the character just run out of home, jump out the window? She ain't gonna do that. She might run down home. She ain't gonna jump out no damn window. No. She gonna say, nah, I need to go through the window.
Leave that to the fire sign, right?
And 8 is very intense. So this is a double 8. Now, it's rare because this number, each number has a place around the wheel or the months that's natural. The natural home for the number 8 is in the sign of Capricorn. Okay?
Wow.
So this person is in their own element. And only as they get older, life gets better for Black Girl Magic.
Wow. That's
And their
amazing.
numbers are 8, 6, and 3. Very creative.
Man, I think you got probably like a computer up between your ears and behind your glasses for you to rattle off like that. PTZ 12, 20, 82.
Well, this person PZTZ needs a hug at least twice a day. Very psychic, very sensitive, very independent. Beginning, and they're in the next to the last stages of Sagittarius going into Capricorn. They're key. So here's where it's somewhat of a paradox for this individual. They are a fire sign with a water number. Well, we know that water is used to extinguish fire. Okay, so that means there'll be sometimes, all depending on what day you catch this individual, where they're very passionate. They're not taking no prisoners. They're not having it. They got to go their way. And then there's sometimes they're very sensitive, very emotional. Who exhibits this is Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams is also, but she's in the reverse. She's a water sign with a fire number. So she'll get on that show. Sometimes she'll be feisty. She ain't taking no prisoners. And then sometimes she'll have a tissue in her hand because they wasn't liking her review and stuff. And she's tearing and stuff. So it's it's not that she's bipolar. She's not. It all depends on what day of the week you catch this particular person on. Their best days are always on Mondays and Fridays more than any. Actually, it's Monday, Thursday, and Fridays are their best days. And their key numbers are the 2, 7, and 3 in that order.
That's amazing. All right. We got some more quickie requests.
Okay.
Danielle Austin, December 20th. Another December 20th, 1984.
Well, in this case with Danielle, it simply means she would do well in the arts, she would do well in theater, she would do well in dance, she would do well in the preparations of food. It tells me she's very finicky or plus about her eating habits or her dietary laws. So in other words, if I took her out on the first date and it was at McDonald's, it's a last date, okay? Because you got to do better than that. Because our attitude is I can do the dollar meal all by myself. But if I took her to a nice restaurant with ambience and great food and music and atmosphere, more than likely I have a second chance. And she's a person that don't miss nothing. So I would not take her sweetness for weakness or her kindness for granted. That would be a very bad mistake. And she likes
Wow.
to do things and find it hard to throw things away.
Crazy. You got all these Decembers popping up, Lloyd.
Like on my show yesterday, I had all Leos coming in. It was like there are patterns that happens like that. So in this case, this person is a Sagittarius 2 person also, but this person is a master number 11, where the person born December the 20th is called the awakening. So this person is a master number 11, which those ones are fire numbers. So this person is a fire sign with fire numbers to make up that 2. So this is a whole different energy from the one we just read on December the 20th. This person is passionate, innovative, inventive, visionary, very, very determined to do things their particular way. And if you notice the birthday, they've got 4 ones, 12, 11, 19, 64. So that tells me that they would either been a manager, supervisor, director, entrepreneur, run their own business. They would have also probably had a preference in law, medicine, or science too.
That's amazing.
Yes, all of us are amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, just look at all the diversity and the numbers. Here we have Renee at January 17th, 1977.
And it indicates that Renee's last day, she's going to be very well off. She's going to have a lot of land, property, everything like that. She's born on the same day as Muhammad Ali. She is an earth sign with an earth number. So she's very, very practical, just like Bliss. Bliss has fun. Bliss likes to, be fancy and stuff. But at the end of the day, Bliss likes to keep it real. And so does Renee, too. And when I looked at her name, Renee, that's 15, 16, 17, 18. Her name suggests she attracts men in uniform, too. So if she's dated a police officer, a man in military or law enforcement or construction or a machinist or toolist, she would do very well. Her birthday also indicates from her name that one of her parents was either Aries or Scorpio or Leo or born on the 9th, 18th, or the 27th of the month. But to know her is to love her. And probably her life started turning around between her 33rd and 35th birthday.
That's amazing, Lloyd.
Yes, we all are amazing.
I can deal with a magnet, but I ain't trying these numbers, man. I got a magnet right here. Let me see. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, this is my magnet right here. Remember this?
Oh,
this
yeah.
My water. This is how magnet has my water. My water sits right up here on my magnet.
Keep it away from your laptop.
No, it is. It has this. You see, I have to reach for it, right?
Yeah,
I've learned that.
Definitely. Okay, we got Rookie Rick, December 10th.
This is a fire sign with a fire number. Okay, so that means they're passionate, they're active, they're born the same day as this big brother that died of a heart attack. He was dating
Vin Rings.
No, not Ving Rings.
No.
Very dark skinned brother. He played in The Last Mile.
Oh,
you
talking about
Duncan. Duncan is his last name.
John Wick movie series, the John Wick series, the bald-headed guy.
Duncan.
No, and in fact, my man that plays Wick is born September the 2nd. He's a Virgo. But this was is Duncan. He was a famous actor.
Duncan. I remember. Yeah. Huge dude.
Yeah. He was dating whatever that lady is. I don't know why I need to get some Coca-Cola or something, whatever they take for the memory right this second. But I got so many facts in my head. But I can tell you this. This person needs to slow it down this year. This person normally is very independent, very feisty. They're going to get their turn next year. But right now, they need to slow their roll. And they need to use the tact of charm and persuasion to get what they want. Because they are naturally assertive. And this will turn people off sometimes. But they know what they want. And to other people, they appear to be selfish, but they're not. They would either be a manager, supervisor, director, head of a department, entrepreneur, but step out on faith. And they will always attract younger ladies to them and women from different cultures too. They're kind of international, but their numbers are the 1, 4, and 3, and Sunday and Thursday. Sunday, Thursday, and Tuesdays are their best days. Those are the 5 days of the week.
That's amazing. And we're going to take this one, the last one, and everybody else, you can line up called Lloyd Strayhorn. Learn from Lloyd at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Book an appointment at www. Oh no, that's the app.
Yeah, and go get the app. Now,
www.
all Android users can download the app. The Apple is about maybe a week and a half away, hopefully sooner, but I'm trying to get it out before Mercury goes retrograde on the 21st of this month. But this person is born September the 15th. They are Earth sign with an Earth number, which means they can be set in their ways. They are nice. They're pleasant. They've got personality. But eventually, probably, if they're dating, probably they will tell you that one of the challenges with this person is control issues, because sixes like to keep things tight. They like to keep things within the parameters and whatnot. And sixes can be very stubborn. They can be very obstinate. They can be very unyielding. When they feel they're right, they're not budging. Sixes normally have great taste too. Almost everything they like never matches what's in their wallet or in a woman's pocketbook. And sixes tend to lean toward perfection. But this is how I named my first online course. And by the way, I meant to tell you, my online course is now on sale. All you got to do is go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com and enroll. Today it ends today.
Oh, hold on. Let me put you full screen when you say that.
Okay.
Say that again, Lloyd.
I have a Learn from Lloyd series. The first one is Learn from Lloyd, How to Read a Person Like a Book. Well, I got that from a number 6. Bliss is a number 6. This person is a number 6. Sixes have a way of looking and sizing up people. Let's say you and Bliss were out on a date, right? And y'all happen to bump into me, and I got all the outward trappings of legitimacy and authentication and stuff. And she'll say, honey, don't give that man your money. Well, you ain't paying him no money, and you're going to give me that money anyway. And then when you lose that money, she's going to say, you see, I told you so. So
yeah, she's definitely psychic.
Not rubbing it in. She's just reminding you, honey, we had this conversation, boo. Okay. So with my online courses is Learn from Lloyd, How to Read a Person Like a Book, Learn from Lloyd, The Next Step in Numerology, and Learn from Lloyd, The Do's and Don'ts of Numerology. They can get all 3 of these courses right now for under $50. Now, if you wait till tomorrow, you can certainly do that, but you're going to have to pay about $300. So since sixes like to save money, and other people in general with the inflation and all that, I would say they need to jump on it tonight or before 24 hours is over, unless you live on the West Coast, of course.
Wow,
that's a huge sale, a huge discount. Thank you.
Of course, yeah. Take advantage of it.
And I want to commend you, Lloyd, for giving discounts. We have some folks who've never heard what the word means, and I think it's very magnetic. It's lucrative. Sales-wise, it's very effective. And also those who are able will embrace you more.
Well, when I advertise my course, it would be nice if everybody could buy my course full retail, all 3. Okay. But because of the inflation, I would prefer that they take advantage so they have no excuse. They can't say, I can't afford it. Actually, the rule should be you can't afford not to have it, especially when it's on sale. Okay?
Yeah.
And it teaches you how to do all this. So, yes, I would love for everybody to pay top dollar for it. But when I advertise on my show, it is normally as a rule, when it's always on a discount. Always. So people can have it. They own it. It's an online. You go at your own rate course. So, and I now have over 5,700 students in 90 countries, translating to 30 languages.
And imagine, it doesn't have to cost much, but imagine all 5,000 at whatever number that's reasonable. Is that better than having a big number and only having a handful?
Well, I learned that from the numbers game in Harlem.
Ooh, hold on now. Let me pull you up again. Tell us about that, Lloyd. Tell it to the young generation.
Casper Holstein from the Caribbean, born on December the 7th, a Sagittarius like you. Actually, when he came to America, he worked downtown on Wall Street, and he figured out a system of developing the numbers game. So the numbers kept a lot of people during the 20s and 30s and 40s up to now in Harlem employed. Numbers was run out of beauty parlors, salons, funeral shops, everywhere. Anywhere
We're
with
there again.
And then on January the 16th of 19 20 something, that was when they started prohibition. Dutch Schultz, who was living in the Bronx at that time, gangster Dutch Schultz, was selling beer, and it was a politician down on Wall Street in Tammany Hall that told him he need to look at to Harlem. So when you see these movies of my man, this Bumpy Johnson,
Right.
that's where all that came from. But it was
I remember
actually
that.
Madame St. Clair who hired Bumpy Johnson as her bodyguard. And she had the on 143rd Street, she had the 40 Thieves. These cats, she was so fearless, men respected her. She would shoot you in a heartbeat. So if you look her up, Madame St. Clair, she was fierce. I
And
think she was a
Cicely
Capricorn.
Tyson played her part in the movie Bumpy
Yeah.
Johnson. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cicely Tyson played that part really well.
Yep, and she was the one that brought Bumpy Johnson into the game. Then Bumpy Johnson, and in fact, Bumpy Johnson and Doug Schultz had a conflict out on Lenox Avenue back in the day. Bumpy Johnson wasn't taking no stuff. That's why they had to deal to Bumpy Johnson. But once they convinced him, then he was the front man for them. And Bumpy Johnson, by the way, was, you know what the nature of his business was? He was an exterminator.
Wow.
Wow.
Exterminating business.
So he was
Okay.
Terminator, huh?
Terminator.
The authentic.
Yeah. So
All right.
it's
So
history.
Lloyd, that was thanks for sharing that. All right.
Sure.
I know you're busy. We're coming up on 1 hour. Do you want to tease them anymore? I mean, you want to give them a little something to walk with, or you going to go and
Yes. Well, let me tell you about the year that we're in.
hold on. Let me pull you up now. Here we go.
Okay. This is so embarrassing. Thanks, Hank. 2023 is the year of the 7. What do I mean? Well, when you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. It's a universal year because no matter what part of the earth you walk on this planet, this year, we're all in a 7 universal year. A lot of people find it challenging to deal with a 7 because it is spiritual in nature. It is metaphysical in nature. This is when people go back to church again. They become born again Christians. They get readings. They go to psychic fairs. But the important thing about 7, it rules the law of attraction. It governs all people of religious or foundations of religion. So, for example, Christ here is celebrated on the 25th. Elijah Muhammad, the founder of the Nation of Islam, was born on the 7th. Bishop Desmond Tutu was born on the 7th. Buddha was born on the 7th of February. If you look at Billy Graham at that time, he was born on the 7th of November. And then if you look at Mary Baker Eddy, that founded Christian Science, she was born on the 16th day of the month in the 7th month of July. If you look at Charles Russell, that founded Jehovah's Witness, he was born on the 16th of February. 1 plus 6 is 7. If you talk to a Muslim and they go to Medina and they circle the cobblestone, they must circle the cobblestone 7 times. And even in the Bible, they said they circled the walls of Jericho 7 times, they sounded the trumpet 7 times, and the walls came tumbling down. 7 continents, 7 notes in the musical scale, 7 days in a week. You know, don't get me started. Thank you.
So, okay, Lloyd, one more
Here's
question.
the thing that's important. 7 rules the law of attraction. Think of 7 as a magnet. That you don't chase after what you want. You magnetize it by thinking about it. So if a person, and I'll say this, if you're walking around all year saying, I don't have no money, it will be a self-fulfilled prophecy. And by the end of the year, you won't have a penny because the source will make sure you don't. So have an abundance mindset. Have a richness mindset. So for those that are lacking in love, visualize love coming into your life. Someone perfect that you've been wanting for the longest time. So thoughts are things. So you must monitor your thoughts. And right now, the media has a lot of projecting of negative thoughts and negative things of that nature. So your whole thing is to be positive, like The Secret, because 7 is the number of secrets. And by the way, secrets normally come to the surface in a 7-cycle year too.
Ooh.
And less is more. The less you say, the more you find out about a person.
Wow. That's interesting because they're trying to spook the heck out of people in mass media, man. It's like Halloween 365 days a year.
Which is what again? I missed the first part.
Mass media has become like a Halloween show.
Well, it is. And it's designed to get people to think that who they are, they're not. Okay? So I'm walking down the street. If I says I'm a balloon, you're supposed to accept the fact I'm a balloon.
Yeah.
And this is what they're doing with genders and whatnot. And they're having a lot of young people very, very confused. And if it's natural, why must you use gender bending drugs to do that?
Mm.
Why
Right.
must you use procedures to do that? That's like
Right.
saying after all these hundreds of thousands of years that man has walked this earth, and at this late date, he's been making these mistakes that a boy wants to be a girl and a girl wants to be a boy. And I just find that spiritually, metaphysically, a question. That's all. I ain't starting no stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm
However,
telling you what I think.
you know that what they don't want people to focus on? The gangster banksters. How the bank system works. We should have learned that in high school.
Well, it's interesting. A few states teach financial literacy. And of all the states, New York don't teach a penny of financial literacy.
Mm-mm.
Because John D. Rockefeller back in 1904 or 5 or something like that, his whole thing, they actually invested in the educational system. They bankrolled the educational system that we have now. But it was bankrolled for teach people to be workers, not thinkers. And
Mhm.
my attitude is you either think for yourself or somebody will do your thinking for you. Period.
That's deep, Lloyd, because we had Lester on the show recently. Who was that, last week, Bliss? I think
Yeah,
it was.
last week I think it was.
And Lester was saying even the design of the projects is for a working class, and the ruling
Mm-hmm.
class don't have the same low ceilings and a whole bunch of 90-degree angles in the apartment,
Mm-hmm.
where the ruling classes have large, grandiose
And things are
geometry
circular too.
and circular.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying also, right in City Hall, there's no square corners in City Hall. But then you have the projects, and I say melanin is a double-sided, two-sided blade, because melanin can be toxic for square corners and low ceilings. However, triangulating the corners can make the projects into a pyramid complex, because the energy, for better or worse, travels through the floors. So that's what
Yeah.
Lester was dropping.
No,
In his
Lester like you is very dynamic. The brother's a genius. I'm waiting for you. Between you two, you're gonna have people floating not too far from now. I can tell you that.
Well, we're definitely going to, but we got to have number tickets so that people can get a ride.
I wouldn't be the first to try it out.
We're gonna work that. We're gonna work that.
And, it's interesting you talk about City Hall, because if you go to 60 Center Street, and once you go past security now, soon as you go into the rotunda, which is circular, okay, there is the horoscopes of all the zodiac signs, right there in the floor.
Engraved into the floor. I remember. You're right.
Yeah, I even took pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah, I took pictures.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lloyd, I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to thank you.
Mhm.
Always have an open
Thank
ticket
you. I enjoyed
when you're ready.
myself.
And
Thank you.
family,
Thank you. Thank you. This
I
was
want
fun.
you to
This was
embrace
fun.
all of you who have the Android app. You can go, I guess, right now and download the
Yeah,
app.
they can download it right now. So don't hesitate. Spread the word to other Android users. The iPhone is coming out soon. There's a little bit more. Well, everybody's got their own way. Apple's definitely got a different platform from Android, but Android is ready. So if you got an Android, just go to astar8.com. You'll see it. If you see it on a computer, you will really see the beauty of how the website is laid out, and how it is very involved. And all you got to do is click on the Android link or Google Play Store link. But be patient. That will be for iPhone. That will be around the corner soon. All righty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So,
Thank you.
all
And
right,
bless
family.
you, beautiful lady. You take good care of yourself.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Let's wrap it up, y'all. Oh,
Thank you.
for those of you who want to be a part of the IM chat, the QR code for the IM invocation. Oh, Lloyd, we've been doing
Yes.
healing circles on Tuesday, and I was inspired this year to have Tuesday crystal healing circles to assist people in manifesting.
Well, maybe one day I'd like to join your group.
Yeah, we do it right on YouTube. And then on Sundays, we have IM affirmations, acknowledging Laji Salasi. He does that. But all this happened in a 7 universal year. So
Yeah, but this is a year of spirituality. So
Mm.
again, it is about not chasing after what you want, but more thinking. And thoughts are things. You can't say, "Oh, Lloyd, that was so stupid." People don't understand the subconscious takes everything that we say consciously seriously, and especially in this year, since it's the law of magnetism, the law of attraction. So be nicer to yourself.
Yeah, I
You know,
like that.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
And
watch your thoughts. Be nice. Be kinder to yourself, because
yeah.
your subconscious is taking everything seriously. So think of genius. Accept that.
Mm,
Think abundance. Accept that. You know what I'm saying?
I am
I'm very
worthy.
abundant. Yeah, I am worthy. I am wealthy. I am healthy. Because you can't have none of this if you don't have health. So health should be your first priority, really.
Right.
You got that right.
Yeah.
You got that. Thank you,
Well,
Lloyd.
thank you. Thank you very much. And also I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And I also have snippets from my books on the sites. I
Okay,
have
hold
one
on.
where how I met
Let
Denzel
me bring you
Washington.
up again, Lloyd. Say it
Yeah.
again, brother, so they can catch it.
Okay. If they go to Instagram, I've taken snippets from my audiobook. One of them is how I met Denzel Washington. And in fact, one of it is interesting. When I met him, he was in an off-Broadway play called A Soldier's Story. It was made into, no, it was a soldier's play made into a movie afterward called A Soldier's Story. When I met him backstage, he told me he was born on the 28th. His wife was born on the 28th. They married on the 28th. Their firstborn was born on the 28th. When he got his first Academy Award, Julia Roberts, who was born on October the 28th, presented it to him.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so all numbers. That's it. That's
I
it.
got
So don't
I got
forget for
one
those.
question to ask you, Lloyd, before we wrap it up.
Yes.
In the planetary movements, what do you think is going to be as far as this year? I mean,
Well,
like,
first of all, Saturn is in Pisces. Mercury's
Yes.
about to go retrograde. So there's going to be a lot of things. And Pluto has entered the sign of Aquarius. And Pluto is the transformative planet that governs. We are in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is a revolutionary sign. Okay? So whether you're
wow.
in Aquarius or number 4, born on the 4th, the 13th, 22nd, or 31st of the month, you carry an Aquarius number because the numbers are actually assigned to a zodiac sign. And so, since it's the age of Aquarius and Pluto is now in it, this explains why what's going on with for example, Britain and Russia and India and China,
Mm-hmm.
all now saying later for the dollar, we now, but there's a lot of revolution going on, believe it or not. And it's starting in the economics.
And in France, aren't they? They're uprising in France, I believe, also.
Yes, they are
Right.
because
Yeah.
I forgot his name. The president there, he now wants to raise the retirement age of the French
Yes.
citizen, and they're not having it.
Yeah.
And I think he raised it like 3 or 4 years, and they're rioting. The policemen are not working, and I'm like, these people.
Now
Forget it.
we're in a very interesting time metaphysically and astrologically speaking. We are, and
So,
this too shall pass. Although it sounds crazy, but even in all of this, God still is the best knower. No question.
For sure.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
You're welcome.
family.
Hey,
I want to thank you again, Lloyd, and we're gonna bring this to a close, family.
thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
Bliss. Bye, Hank.